Hey everybody, it's Glenn, back in this video with another action figure comparison. Now you know how we comic book nerds are. We love nothing better than comparing the comics to the movies that were inspired by them. But how do the action figures compare? In this instance, it's Electro, comic counterpart versus movie counterpart. It's also Toy Biz versus Hasbro. But which is the best action figure? I'm going to take a look at the various aspects of each one, comparing sculpt, deco, articulation and accessories. And at the end of the video, in the comments below, you guys declare the victor. With the classic comic book incarnation being represented by Toy Biz's Electro from the Marvel Legends Spider-Man vs. Sinister Six box set from 2004, and representing Amazing Spider-Man 2 we have Hasbro's Marvel Legends Ultimate Green Goblin Build-A-Figure Collection Infinite Series Electro. So here they are side by side, and comparing the two, I guess you could be easily swayed by your feelings for Amazing Spider-Man 2. Some love it, some hate it, yet more seem to hate it than love it. But when judging a movie figure, I try really hard to set my opinion of a movie to one side and judge it purely on how faithfully the movie figure interprets the vision we see from the movie. Yet that said, it's a bit hard to remember exactly what movie I'm supposed to be sitting to one side. Is it Amazing Spider-Man 2? Is it The Watchmen? Is it Batman and Robin? Because I can't not look at the movie figure and also think of Mr. Freeze and Dr. Manhattan. As for the comic version, I like the choice of the skinny frame. He definitely has the look of someone who, instead of beating the crap out of his opponents, relies on zapping the crap out of them. I'm not too keen on the sticky out shoulders as we have here and got with many Marvel Legends of that era. I understand it makes for more functional articulation, but boy is it ugly. In terms of deco, Comic Electro has some nice shading to the green of his costume, which really makes the sculpt pop. Then the yellow lightning bolts of the costume are transferred on pretty crisply, and really with the belt tightening of action figure production we've seen over the past decade, the level of deco of an offering from Hasbro today just isn't gonna hold up to one from Toy Biz from 10 years ago. I mean, the black of the action figure is all just the flat plastic. There are some metallic silver details painted in, and in an attempt to achieve a powered up look, they've airbrushed some blue onto the wrists and the shoulders. Yet the shade of blue paint they've used, it's really quite pastel. It says less electricity and more baby boy's nursery. Plus Hasbro have committed what I consider a crime against paint deco by neglecting to paint the detail on this head. If I bring in his interchangeable head, you can see the black paint detail around the collar, and then this circuit detail above the ear. It's all absent on this head. Now taking a closer look at both of them, and Comic Electro's mask is really quite spectacular. Yeah, it does represent that kind of comic campness that just wouldn't work in reality. So I can understand the decision for the movie makeover. And like that makeover or not, I'm struggling to see Jamie Foxx's likeness in the movie Electro head. And I think that's because of the semi-translucent plastic making it hard to see the detail. But as we've already seen, if you don't like this head, we do get a second interchangeable one, with this one having raw electricity beaming from his eyes. Either that or he's borrowed the fake eyelashes from some crazy drag queen. And in addition to that interchangeable head, we can also swap out his black fisted hands for these interchangeable ones that are shooting lightning from his fingertips. The hands match the semi-translucent plastic of the heads. It's always going to be tricky to translate something as ephemeral as electricity into solid plastic. But you got to admire the effort. Now admittedly, Comic Electro didn't come with fancy interchangeable hands shooting bolts of lightning from the fingertips, but his hands are sculpted in a way that he can be posed as if he's poised about to shoot a bolt of lightning. Well, at least one of them is sculpted that way. The other one, I'm not sure what they were trying to achieve with the sculpt, eerily reminiscent of the infamous transformation scene from American Werewolf in London. Now comparing articulation, and the heads of each rotate side to side, they're both able to look down a decent amount, and just in case Spidey comes swinging in from above, they're both able to look up a decent amount also. Both have rotation at the waist and an ab crunch which moves this far forwards and then moves this far back, with Comic Electro just about out limboing Movie Electro. At the shoulder, Comic Electro has the armpit articulation, which moves his arm forwards and backwards. Movie Electro doesn't have that. And then the arms of each both rotate at the shoulder. They move up this much, Comic Electro much more, whereas the articulation of the arm up on Movie Electro is blocked by the sculpt on the shoulder, and then both the arms move back down. There's upper arm rotation. Then both have double jointed elbows. Comic Electro has rotation mid-lower arm. Movie Electro at the wrist, and the hands are hinged, moving down and up. And then Comic Electro also has finger articulation too. At the hips, the legs move out to the side on both and also to the front, but neither move too much to the back. There's upper leg rotation on both. Both have a double jointed knee and rotation mid-lower leg. Both have hinged ankles moving backwards and forwards. Plus Electro also has toe articulation, and both have an ankle pivot, although the range of pivot on Movie Electro is much wider than that of Comic Electro. With this being each figure standing at their widest stance possible, still with both feet flat on the floor. So all things considered, and it's a pretty easy one for me, I'm siding with the comic incarnation. And I say that not as one of those people who expects every movie incarnation to be exactly like the comic book, but if you're going to do something different in the movie, at least do it good. And I can't find anything redeeming about Jamie Foxx's Electro. And while I said an opinion about the movie should be sat to one side judging an action figure, it's hard for that not to play into it. I mean, in the movie, Jamie Foxx went from doing an impression of Jim Carrey to just being a generic filler villain. So why would I want an action figure of that? As soon as I get a good idea for a custom, he won't be Movie Electro any longer. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Click the video on the right for the previous action figure comparison. As ever, give this video a thumbs up, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.